welcome to Lynchburg, Virginia. How many of you traveled more than 100 miles to be here tonight? Most of you. I'm very happy to be here. Last year, I was in the hospital the day before graduation, the same day, Friday of last May 14th, I believe it was. And it was some symptoms, turned out to be nothing serious, but I scared my wife to death because the doctor wanted to keep me longer, but I wanted to get over here. So finally I sneaked out, ran down the hall, and the nurse called me back because I still had an IV in my arm. So they brought me back, pulled it out, and I sneaked out before the doctor got, and I got here just before it ended. So I'm happy to be here at the beginning of the ceremony this year. I'd like to introduce my wife, Becky. If you stand up, please. Becky, She has a nephew graduating tomorrow. I met Becky through Liberty, so like many of you male students, I owe Liberty a great debt of gratitude. But our family, it's become a tradition going to Liberty University. My brother, who is here today, my sister, my son graduated from Liberty. My second son's a student here. Of course, I went to Liberty. And the only person in our family who didn't attend Liberty was my father. But he did play a role. But we're just so delighted to have all of you here. It really is my privilege to officially welcome all of our graduates and your families to this evening's baccalaureate service on our 40th annual commencement weekend. Tomorrow we will be awarding, thank you. Tomorrow we will be awarding degrees to more than 15,000 graduates. It's the largest graduating class in Liberty University's history. Graduates, we are proud of you. We are looking forward to celebrating this great accomplishment throughout this special weekend. You're entering a challenging job market and a culture that is often hostile to Christian values, but we believe that you are ready to become the salt of the earth and the light of the world. We believe in you because we know your faith has taken deep roots here, and we are confident that you will leave Liberty knowing not only how to make a living, but how to live. We look forward to hearing all about your career successes in the future and the example that you will become in your service to others. One of our recent commencement speakers attended the commencement at one of the most prestigious universities in the nation the day after Liberty's commencement, after he spoke here. And he later told us that he was struck by the huge contrast he saw between the graduates of the two institutions. At Liberty, he noticed that our graduates possessed an overwhelming desire to serve others. At the other school, he saw a sense of entitlement that the world owed the graduates all the best in life because of their elite status. We are proud that our graduates are focused on loving God with all their hearts and loving their neighbors as themselves. Tonight's ceremony signifies this university's commitment to our Christian faith and to the Judeo-Christian values upon which our nation was founded. This service was traditionally held in the Thomas Road Baptist Church. Last year, though, we had grown so much that we could no longer fit in the church. My brother's the pastor. You'll be hearing from him later tonight. But the baccalaureate service is believed to have originated at Oxford University in 1432, when each graduate was required to deliver a sermon in Latin to complete his academic requirements. Don't worry, we're not going to make you do that tonight, graduates, but the tradition continued into colonial American times when the Puritans, who were highly educated, many with degrees from Oxford and Cambridge, decided to found America's first university, which we now know as Harvard University. They did so only 17 years after arriving in the New World because of their deep desire to prepare their next generation of leaders. They stated that the goal of higher learning was to know God and Jesus Christ, which is eternal life, and to lay Christ at the bottom as the only foundation of all sound knowledge and learning, if only they still believed that. Later, others founded 9 colonial colleges such as Princeton, founded by the Presbyterians, Brown by the Baptists, Rutgers by the Dutch Reformed, and Dartmouth by the Congregationalists. 6 of those 9 were founded in the immediate aftermath of America's First Great Awakening, demonstrating again the historic link in America between vibrant faith and higher education. And like Harvard, they were chartered by churches. In the early 18th century, Yale stated that its primary goal was that every student shall consider the main end of his study to know God and Jesus Christ. The tradition continued all the way into the 20th century, when almost all of the state universities still held mandatory chapel services. Some even required Sunday church attendance, and even into the 1950s, it was not unusual for leading schools to refer to themselves as Christian institutions. It is an indisputable historic fact that American higher education was founded by Christians and founded upon a Christian worldview. Christianity was the catalyst for intellectualism and the source of so many of our nation's profound and unique ideas. For most of our history, education and faith were inseparable, and baccalaureate services were considered an essential part of the American university. The baccalaureate service made it clear that universities welcome God, the author of all knowledge, into the university. This tradition has always been an overt demonstration of the biblical foundation upon which this nation and its education system was founded. Founders like Thomas Jefferson, who lived in this part of Virginia, wanted the church to be free from state control. You see, in colonial Virginia before the Revolution, the king controlled the Anglican Church and required all Virginians to be members and to pay tithes. That eventually gave the King of England ownership of much of the land in Virginia. After the Revolution, our founding fathers structured our government so that could never happen again. The goal was to prevent the state from using any church to expand its wealth and power, not to keep faith out of the public square or prayer out of the schools. It was only after World War II that activist judges began to redefine what our founders meant when they talked about the separation of church and state. And what's worse, American young people are not learning the truth about our founding principles because the history of our nation is no longer being taught in our educational system. Take, for example, a recent account I read in the Wall Street Journal about a well-known elite college in New England whose president tried to solicit a donation from a wealthy philanthropist. The philanthropist became concerned that this particular university was indoctrinating students with values that were at odds with the values of most Americans, so he decided to hire a firm to study the school's curriculum. In the end, they discovered that the university didn't have a single curriculum requirement focusing on the founding of America or even American history in its broadest sense. Actually, even history majors were not required to take a single course in American history, nor was there a single course devoted to American political, military, diplomatic, or intellectual history. The university did offer history courses that focused on matters such as class, sexuality, gender, ethnicity, and the evils of capitalism. So instead of donating the money, the philanthropist gave the study to the national media. Now I'm hoping to get the donor to do a similar study of liberty because I believe he would find that we teach the truth about American history and its founding principles. I was proud to announce recently on a national radio show, the Glenn Beck Show, that Liberty University is working on an online American history course that will be offered free of charge to students nationwide who attend high schools and colleges that either ignore American history or that attempt to revise it on the altar of political correctness. These students, the schools will be encouraged to accept these courses so the students can earn credit and use it towards their curriculum requirements in whatever school they attend. As the courts over the years have revised our Constitution and the academic establishment revised our history, God was excluded from graduation at many universities. But one of the privileges of attending Liberty University is that this service, which overtly honors Jesus Christ, has not fallen prey to activist judges or political correctness. This service is our moment to officially remind you of your ultimate purpose in life, to know Jesus Christ and to make him known. It is our opportunity to admonish you one last time to always live your life in obedience to the great commandment of Jesus Christ.